Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Phumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. Kids are going back to school this week, especially in inland provinces. And there are also people who have been driving back to big cities from where they've been on holiday and the rural areas where they come from. Now the buzz of the big city is going to be back. We also decided to drive along the N3 route to look at the beautiful scenery of South Africa. But we're here to give you your technology and social media news. Remember, you can find us on SABC Network. Now, that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It is newsnetwork@sabc.co.za on email. This week, our Twitter poll is asking you if we ever going to see tech billionaires in Africa, as we have heard that tech billionaires in the rest of the world made even more money during the COVID-19 pandemic. Results of that are coming up later in the program. Firstly, here's what's coming up in this episode. We chat about how people can send goods across borders in a digital manner. We find out about an e-health service. And in our conversation, we chat to the Red Bull Basement University winners about their solution. The gaming industry is a multi-billion rand industry all over the world. Even though it may seem like it's not picking up here in Africa, it is. And there are a lot of people who are creating video games here as well. But a lot of games created on the African continent are games for the education sector. The COVID-19 pandemic aided gaming all over the world. People were largely at home and looking for things to do. Statista.com says millennials are born between 1980 and the year 2000, as well as Gen Z, born after the year 2000, are the biggest gamers.
I play with my son all the time. I mean, it's really, really brilliant. It kind of like take the child out of the shell and the focus, they can control what they see in front of them.
So as this is the case, we asked some about what they'd recommend we play during these holidays.
My favorite games are the UFC, FIFA, Call of Duty, also like Street Fighter, Grand Theft Auto, Street Fighter, UFC, Forza Horizon.
While a lot of popular games come from the West, and while esports can make people millions, Africa is still trying to figure out how the continent can get a slice of the pie.
You just need to always wake up when it's ready. And I think that time is now. Asians, Europeans have heard about esports because that is where the product started from. And the gaming culture is big in Africa, but not the esports culture.
Gaming tournaments are increasing. The continent's young people seem to know that there's money to be made in gaming too.
I know quite a bit of people whose parents are quite invested in them making a professional career out of themselves. So I think we're getting there. We're not there yet, but in the next few years we will be there.
The scene is bigger when you see a lot of people playing. Definitely more brands will want to come in, and then it will get bigger and bigger, and then there will be a lot more prizes to go around.
While some play for money, there are those who play for education.
I was the last on leaderboard, so I felt like for people that are writing the same exams to be at the top, so I need to do something to get to that point.
Some of these serious games are created by South African developers too.
And we have had a lot more of requests for that compared to any entertainment games that any individuals or company client would come and say, we would actually like to do this. And I think it connects a lot more to the fact that people do understand the need of having a game developed, but they also understand it from a perspective where they can easily draw up a business plan for it for a local market where they know that they can actually drive some revenue from it easily with local partners or with local consumers.
Countries in Asia and in the West are now dealing with gaming addiction problems. China is now limiting gaming time for kids to just 2 hours because of those addiction problems. So as you play your games during these holidays, be aware of addiction that can come with it. A lot of people who come from different parts of the continent and live in South Africa often have to send goods home. In the past, these goods would be sent perhaps through buses that would be going there. But now there are digital methods of doing this.
This is Anele Mpofu, a Zimbabwean national residing in South Africa. Anele has to shop and send groceries home, a process she says is both time-consuming and tedious.
We usually buy groceries to send via buses. So one of my friends actually informed me about malaicha.com, and she actually loved the service. So I was like, okay, let me try it on. The struggles are me going to the shops, trying to look for all the specials so I can buy, and carrying all the goods I have to carry in big bags and taking them to the buses, trying to find transport to take to the buses, in fact, before. So yeah, it's a hassle.
Malaicha.com is an app that has made it possible for Zimbabweans living in South Africa to buy groceries for their loved ones without the hassle of going to physical stores.
Our Zimbabwean customers had a problem sending essential goods and groceries back to Zimbabwe. And so we developed malaicha.com, Android app. You download it from the Google Play Store, you register, you shop for your groceries, you make payment, and instantly your groceries are available in Zimbabwe for you.
Anele used the Malaicha.com app when it was launched by the Hello Group back in 2019. Since then, the world has seen massive lockdowns, including border restrictions due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The question is whether the app is still active during these tough times.
COVID has actually done wonders for our business. From a grocery remittance point of view, sales have reached new heights, and the fact that the borders have been were closed for a long time assisted us in transitioning people to move to a more formalized way or a digital way of sending groceries now back home to Zimbabwe. And what we've seen is the same customers that tried our service during the hard lockdown continue to use us, and I think have spread the word that this service actually works, it's reliable, it's cost effective.
Seeing that the digital platform is doing well amongst Zimbabwean customers, Malaicha.com Managing Director Sejal Mahan says they have thought about expanding to more countries in the SADC region.
We've, deeply looked into whether we should expand the product offering to different corridors, like you said. And what we found is with Zimbabwe, there's a dire need for this service, whereas the other SADC regions, we haven't found that same request or need. For Lesotho, we do money remittances, and we found that that's a very popular channel, that people just send money instead of groceries. And what we found is the proximity of Lesotho to South Africa makes it very easy for people to cross the border, come and do their shopping over a weekend and go back. With Zimbabwe, it's a little bit more difficult, and it's a bit further. If you look at Harare's proximity, Bulawayo's proximity to South Africa, it's a distance.
E-commerce platforms have been saving grace for consumers and have seen exponential growth in this pandemic.
In our Startup Corner this week, we have an app that helps people get better healthcare services.
By profession, I'm a data scientist. I studied big data analytics at Wits University. So I do work at a startup, so it's a lot of things. In as much as I study data science, but I do a lot of stuff. I also do back-end development, so that's software engineering. My business partner and I started this telehealth company. Actually, how it started with us just trying to use some data science concepts to be able to assist with maternal health issues. There are quite a lot of issues that women face when they're giving birth, such as a lot of times you'd find that there's a fetal abnormality that a parent only finds out once the baby is born, which can be very traumatic because then you don't get to prepare for it, or you don't have a lot of options once that happens. but also around actually knowing if someone is going to have complications or not, because then knowing that earlier would definitely help health professionals to mitigate that risk. So that is sort of where we started. Because it's something that requires quite a lot of research and convincing people that, hey, this thing could actually work, we are doing a lot of research on that. But now what Guardian Health does is that it's a telehealth company. So we basically have your virtual appointments, we have like digital prescriptions, your digital filing. We've partnered as well with some labs. So health professionals are actually able to refer patients for lab tests and they receive the results via the platform. So that's sort of the main focus at the moment. But yeah, that's basically what some of the achievements have. And Guardian Health has done well. We've won a couple of awards last year, including the Best Youth App at the MTN App Awards. So I guess those are some of the achievements. I was also part of I was nominated as part of the Best Youth in STEM, part of the Rising Stars by Brainstorm Magazine, and also part of the Top 15 Young Geeks of South Africa as well last year.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. After the break, we chat about the winners of the Red Bull Basement competition. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Welcome back. Now, there's been a lot of funding that goes into Africa's tech startup space, but a lot of this money goes into only a number of companies, especially in the fintech space. The 2021 Africa Investment Report by Market Insights organization, Britta Bridges, says it's startups in the fintech space in Africa that seem to overshadow all other startups in the continent in the amount of investment funding they receive. These include Time Bank, Flutterwave, and Chipper Cash.
So it's going to take some time for those capital structures to develop, because in the rest of the world, they're pretty much funded by other founders who have like experienced liquidity events and have got quite a bit of money. We see it happening in Nigeria. So if you look at Nigerian startups, like who are the people writing investment checks for Nigerian startups at the earliest stage? It's other founders who are from Nigeria who know how hard it is to raise money from Nigeria, and they're like, yeah, I'm just going to make it easier for the next generation.
Some of these are already starting to be visible in markets outside Africa as well. Chipper Cash is expanding into South Africa now, and they're using the high mobile phone penetration rate as well as a gap in the remittances space to pitch themselves.
I think it's just a function of that, where we are in the ecosystem. And if you're trying to do certain things at the scale that we're trying to do, you just need a lot of capital. I mean, imagine trying to build a cross-border mobile money service with all of these embedded features across 54 African states. It's going to be expensive. So we're fortunate enough to have like patient and understanding investors who are willing to back us on this incredible journey to tackle this very wicked problem. And we hope that if we're successful, we'll be able to enable another generation of entrepreneurs to build on top of our success.
The COVID-19 pandemic resulted in many seeing where Africa's gaps are. And as people moved online for much of what they do, startups taking advantage of this started to emerge as well. Nigerian-based Vendees is one of them.
We started when Lagos shut down. And at first we were concerned that we were not going to get any business. But it turns out that singular act of shutting everywhere down, and people couldn't directly go to the markets themselves, and we could, because we had a license as a procurement company, helped to change the buying habits of these businesses.
While the Britta Bridges report says only about 20 startups seem to get a big slice of the funding pie, Africa is actually thriving a lot more than one would believe in this sector.
The three markets come with different flavors. In Lagos, you have the drive. The drive is exceedingly exciting. The passion is there. The passion is, people are very creative. People, they challenge you. They challenge your thinking with the novel, creative products that you see, with the ideas. People do a lot of things out of nothing.
Recently, Red Bull selected their winners for the South African leg of the basement event. Now, Red Bull Basement goes all over the world to find ideas that are innovative in the technology space. And once they've found those solutions in local winners, they find these in young people especially, they then compete with others from all over the world. And South Africa's country winners this year, Matlohonolo and Masego Mphahlele, they are twins from Pretoria. Thank you very much for joining us, ladies. Maybe if you can start by telling us, maybe let's start with you, Matlohonolo. Why did you decide to enter this Red Bull competition?
In 2019, we entered a competition called Eskom Expo, and we didn't win with the same idea. And this year during September, one of our friends from UJ introduced us to Red Bull, and we saw that it's a great platform to showcase our idea again. So that's why we entered the competition. We want the world to know about our idea, and yeah.
Matapelo, your idea comes with its x-ray glasses, actually, and this x-ray is done on the spot, and one doesn't have to go to the clinic or hospital for them to see what's going on inside. Tell us about where the idea came from.
It all started in 2019 when we were playing soccer and one of our teammates got hurt, and we had to accompany her to the hospital. So when we got there, there was a long queue. Then we had to wait for a very long time just for her to get her x-ray done. And while we were there, we wished that there was a small device that can help her to get her scans quickly. And that's how we came up with the idea when we were introduced to Eskom Expo. We came up with the idea. We looked back on our situation and came up with the digital x-ray glasses. We thought that they could be more easily to use and they can give results more quickly.
How's Red Bull helping you build this idea?
So right now we're in the development phase. That's where we develop the idea and trying to build the actual product. So Red Bull is helping us with like local mentors, international mentors, and some funding to build our prototype. So yeah, they have appointed us a Red Bull mentor, a local mentor, and he's been helping us a lot. And then they have appointed us also a maker space where we can actually build the prototype, because we had a prototype but it doesn't do much. So Red Bull is helping us to do a prototype that is more efficient, that is working and does a lot of things.
Ladies, what's the end goal for you?
The bigger picture. We want companies to know about our product so that they can help us. Companies like CSIR, they are a medical company that works with medical equipment. So we want them to help us with the product and actually make it so that we can they can be in hospitals or clinics, like everywhere. Yeah.
Matlohonolo and Masego Mphahlele, thank you very much for being a part of our network. They are Red Bull winners, or Red Bull Basement winners, and they'll be going to Turkey to compete over there with other great innovative ideas from all over the world. And with that, let's take a short break. SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Welcome back. Here's what else took place in the rest of the world in the technology space.
BlackBerry is pulling the plug on service for its once global business smartphones, which were touted by executives, politicians, and legends of fans in the early 2000s. The move marks the end of an era, as the phones, which sported a tiny QWERTY physical keyboard, pioneered push email and the BBM instant messaging service. Former US President Barack Obama, one of its most celebrated users, made headlines in 2016 when he was asked to give up his BlackBerry and replace it with an unnamed smartphone. BlackBerry lost favor with users with the advent of Apple's touchscreen iPhone devices. In recent years, the company pivoted to making cybersecurity software and embedded operating systems for cars. Social media was alight with tributes. One Twitter user reminisced it was a fabulous machine and hoped the company's phone would be resurrected. Hyundai Motor Co unveiled their plan this week of an interactive and partly virtual future it calls Metamobility, where a variety of robotic devices interact with humans to provide a broad range of mobility services. Hyundai executives led by Chief Executive Yusin Chang elaborated on that vision in a media briefing at the annual Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. Buzzwords aside, Hyundai expects to leverage its growing expertise in robotics and artificial intelligence to build out a future mobility network that links human beings in the real world with objects and tasks in the virtual world. To make this work, the automaker said it was building a mobility of things ecosystem that will link modular robotics platforms to perform different mobility services. Separately, Samsung CEO J.H. Han, in his keynote address to CES, unveiled the company's vision for a sustainable future where people and technology coexist in what he called an age of togetherness.
And that's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It is News Network at sabc.co.za. From me, Spumelele Zondi, and the rest of the team, enjoy your 2022. Bye-bye. Have a good one.